Hello to everyone and welcome to All Angles Sports Investment. I am Steve Wiss and I'm with Ashley Waite, and this is the start of a new project which has been in the pipeline for quite some time now. Ashley, we had our little warm-up before Christmas in the World Cup in which we were very successful together, nearly plus 30 units of profit in the World Cup with nearly a 20% yield.
Yep.
But we've been working on a few things, and now we are coming together for effectively a premium handicapping betting service, which will be a joint contribution to you bettors out there. So, Ashley, how are you doing? First and foremost, it's a pleasure to be going into business with you, my friend.
Yes, it is. It's a pleasure to be going into business with you. I think that I don't know how long we've been talking about doing this, but I know it's just been in the works for what seems like forever. So thrilled that we're finally getting it going. I love doing the World Cup videos with you. Loved interacting with you. You know, we've been talking FaceTiming and whatnot since we're on opposite ends of the planet. So constantly, putting all of our energy into this. So to see it finally taking off is super, super exciting. So I'm ready to go full blast ahead. If you guys will bear with me, I'm just trying to retweet that we're live here. So
yeah, anyone watching on Twitter, the best place to actually watch is if you're watching live, is to go to the YouTube link and watch it on YouTube, because then you can actually comment live on the video and we'll be able to see the comments here and respond to you. If you can't do that, then do feel free to tag us in a tweet and ask a question or anything or interact. We're always here for you. That's one of the main things about this service, a very personalized service indeed. You know, we're not just any old Tom, Dick or Harry. You know exactly who we are. And, you know, prominent people. We're not hiding behind anything or anything like that. Always full transparency. But to basically give people an idea of how it's going to work, the premium service will be starting at some point in the next week. I can't give an exact date yet, but there will be a pricing structure, which, again, is still under discussion. It will be a very competitive rate, though. And what you'll be getting is basically pre-match picks from myself and Ashley, live picks as well, and they'll be delivered to you on Telegram channel. For those of you, I know Telegram is a very, very popular way of delivering these picks now, so you'll be gaining access to those. Fear not, for those who just want a bit of occasional content, there will be still plenty of free videos around, but there will also be exclusive videos for those who are on the premium Telegram channel. And also you will have access to a Discord channel, which is currently under construction, and you will have extra perks in there as well. But fundamentally, you'll be joining to profit, gain, make a lot of money, hopefully, with plenty of units profit, but also gaining extra information on matches from a personalized touch service from myself and Ashley. We will be discussing all the big games, of course, around the world. We are there for it.
Yeah, but I'll mostly be leaving the EPL to you, because anyone who is watching this who knows anything about me already knows that I do bet that league sparingly. But anytime you guys have questions about the EPL, or there are picks in the EPL, or there's news in the EPL, or manager changes, whatever, that's going to be his expertise. I can't stand that league. It always does me dirty. So yeah, I'll be betting in down in Bulgaria and places like that before I touch the EPL. So.
Well, do you know, actually, not a lot of people know what I actually bet on in the EPL, because most of my public plays have only ever really come out in terms of France or Norway.
That's true.
I did actually do a couple of EPL videos, Leeds Man United this year, and both picks did win on the videos. So, yeah, but this will be the place where you will have access to all the picks that I have, wherever they may be around the world. Now, of course, there's other sources where, you might be able to hear some of my French picks or some of my Norwegian picks, but you will not. This is the only place for everywhere around the world. So, that's what you're getting out of this service. And eventually it'll be the same for you as well, Ashley. It's based, like I say, I'm pretty sure with our dual knowledge, experience, and quality, we will deliver an excellent service to you guys. So watch this space, because you will soon see the areas where you can subscribe to the service, which will be starting within the next week.
Yeah.
Just a comment. Best wishes to you guys best in the business. Thank you very much, Kevin McCahill. Really appreciate you, Kev.
Kevin, my buddy's watching. Yeah, that's the thing, and this is our little rough go of it, like our dry run or whatever you want to call it. So I can't see the comments right now, but I'll have all that fixed hopefully by the next time we come on. So yeah, what's up, Kevin? I'm only going to know who's watching by whoever you decide to talk to.
Yeah, so I say watch this space, everyone. There will be more information coming out, but today we are going to give you a little bit of a teaser here. We are going to do a weekend preview. We're going to talk about some picks that we've got lined up for the weekend, spread across the world. So, that can get everyone sort of in the mood for this. And probably it's something we might do every week, a free show. We want to give content to a lot of different people out there. End of the day, people, before you buy, you want to see what you're going to get, don't you? So there'll be a range of different stuff out there. But for Saturday and Sunday, then, we've had a look around, and there's some interesting plays that we've got lined up on this show. We're going to start, actually, with what we're calling the Ashhole Treble, which is an interesting little name. A treble from you, Ashley.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it up on the screen now. Now, all odds will be in American, just to keep it simple. And this is it. We've got a match in Bulgaria. Luda Gerets against someone who I'm not even going to try and pronounce. And Luda Gerets to score 2 or more goals. Celtic versus Rangers, more on that match in a minute, over 1.5 goals. And the Chelsea match, Wolves against Chelsea, João Felix, over 1.5 shots. Settled with Opta data, I might add.
Yes.
And then combine those three together, and we get in plus 102 on this.
Right. So the reason we're doing this one first, I think out of all the matches we're going to be going over today, Celtic Rangers, I believe, is the earliest. I don't know about you guys. I'm just in a different part of the world, but it's 1:30 a.m. for me over here in Hawaii. So that's where we're going to go with the treble first. So I'm going to go to Bulgaria. Anyone who knows me, you guys know I love just some of these random leagues, like Steve said, throughout the world, right? I don't just stay in one area. So this, how did you pronounce it? Because I just say Ludogorets.
Luda Gerets against, I've not got a problem pronouncing them. I do have a little bit of a problem with this.
Well, I don't know if you have a problem, but I don't pronounce like that. I'm just going to stick with what I stick with my Southern draw. Ludogorets, yeah. So all we need them to do here is score twice. Some of you guys probably have bet Ludogorets before, if you do venture out into other leagues. So as far as head-to-head numbers with this team, I'll just call them Botev. They've put up at least 2 in the last 4 head-to-head. They average, 2.3. And Botev concedes almost 2.5. So, I think that Ludogorets will score. I can see them putting up 3, but, since we're putting this on a treble, I'm just going to take the safer route. So they're also number 2 in the table in Bulgaria, and they're trailing the CSKA Sofia. So I just think it's a good time here. Superior team. The head-to-head numbers support it, and the situational aspect of it supports it, right? Making a race for that number 1 spot. And a very flawed defense to do it against. So I don't think that we have a problem getting them to score 2.
Do you know what, Ashley? I'm just looking at this table now. There's 2 CSKA Sofias. There's this team in 3rd place. Who are they? I don't know Bulgarian football.
They are, right. So I don't. Sometimes I will bet the one that's the one in the table, but I try to stay away from that. I'll bet it personally. I don't post that on Patreon or anything because I know someone's going to end up on the wrong match. But that does get tricky, just like in Latvia when you have Riga and then you have Rigas with an S, right? But we're not betting on those. So who gives a shit? We're just worried about that team
2
right
goals.
there, sandwiched in between them. Yeah, Ludogorets getting 2. And Celtic Rangers, this is kind of, a cowardly bet here. So this treble is at plus money. If you guys want to make it a little bit, juicier odds, you can take the over 2. I like both teams to score. That really puts it at a better price. But with this being probably, wouldn't you say, it's definitely one of, if not the most heated rivalries in all of footy, right?
Oh, it's maybe one of the biggest in the world.
Right. So when that comes into play, both teams to score I do like, because I know both teams are going to go all out here. But what just kind of pulls me away from that and makes me take the more cautious, or we'll just be honest and say cowardly approach, is just in case the player does something stupid and gets a red card. You guys know, like, red cards are just the bane of my existence. So gonna take the safe route over 1.5. You want to up your odds, take over 2. That still gives you the option to push. And we're going to, this is kind of a quirky treble, but I'm a quirky person, so I love it. Joao Felix, you're not going to see me taking Chelsea to win or team totals or anything like that, but I do like this guy as far as just taking shots. Now, make sure you take him over 1.5 shots, not shots on target. That's a whole different scenario, even though I think he may hit that too. We just need him to shoot it twice, right? It doesn't matter if it hits the crossbar or where it goes. As far as his stats, so they're up against the Wolves here, so I think Chelsea's going to look at this as a winnable match, obviously. So I think they'll go for it. And he's one of their, main scoring options. So as far in 11 straight matches, he's had at least 2 shots, right? So that's great for our numbers here. He's actually averaging 3.5. But I just like the fact of in a row, he's had at least 2. And I think this is a very good defense and their state of mind to go out, I think, and push here. I think that he gets us 2 shots. And with the fact that we don't, I get a little bit leery now to do shots on target, because you guys know I've been screwed by Opta so many times. So yeah, but I still love taking the shots, just not the shots on target. So I just think these 3 are, I just think it getting a little bit of plus money, but I do like each of these looks. So I think we could see over 2.5 in Celtic. I think that Ludogorets could put up 3, and I think Felix could have more than 2 shots. So yeah, I'll take a chance here, a little plus money that we get the basics here from each of these matches.
Do you know what? Sometimes I joke with you, don't I, about having boring bets, but this is far from that. This is really interesting. 3 completely different leagues, some markets which are very interesting as well. I agree with Joao Felix. He's an absolute shot machine, isn't he? He averages about 4 shots per game or something, maybe even higher than that.
I think it's like 3.56 or
I mean, I wouldn't trust him to score, but he does.
I wouldn't trust the team to score.
Well, hey, they've got Frank Lampard now. Frank Lampard's back there. I mean, what do you think of that? Is he going to motivate them?
I have no idea. I don't know who the fuck that is. That's your thing. I'm a metrics person. I study numbers. I don't know who's going to motivate what. I just know, I like Joao Felix, the number of shots he takes. And as long as that bastard gets us 2 here, I don't care what Chelsea does, because good luck figuring that team out.
Hannah Waite says, best in the business, aren't we, right?
Oh, Lord. She's on there. I thought she was working. She lied.
Well, thank you very much for your comment, Hannah. And thank you very much for this very interesting Ashol treble to start things off, Ashley. Where am I going to go now? We're going to go back to the Old Firm game, because I've got an interesting pick in this Old Firm game. Celtic versus Rangers. I'm going with over 6 Asian cards, which is probably one of the highest card lines that I will ever bet on. But there's reasons for it, because this is obviously a hugely fierce rivalry. Both sides absolutely hate each other. And the referee in charge is someone called Kevin Clancy. He averages 4.29 yellow cards per game this season and 0.43 red. So effectively, he averages 5 cards a game. Now, but this is an Old Firm match where, I mean, the both teams have won, I think, their last 10 games each. This is Rangers' last chance. If they're ever, I mean, Celtic, I think, are going to win the title, but Rangers have got to win to basically stay in the race. So both teams are going to be giving it everything. I've looked at the card numbers for the last 4 games at Celtic Park. It seems the cards rack up here rather than Ibrox. It might be because Rangers just get more panicked. But 11 cards the last time they met each other. And then the other 3 times at this venue, 6 cards, 7 cards, and 7 cards. So actually, there's not been a red card in the last 8 Old Firm games, incredibly.
That is surprising.
And I think that's I think the reason for that is because referees will let quite a lot go. They've got to, otherwise the whole everyone on the field would get booked.
Right. Yeah. They know from the outset that this match is just going to be a feisty affair.
You've got to let it go. You're basically only sending someone off here unless they commit assault or something ridiculous, which does happen.
It's liable to happen in this match.
It can happen. I've got a feeling maybe there is a red card in this game, maybe towards the end, hopefully after we've got the 2 goals. And you know, I don't care when the cards come. I mean, I won a card bet tonight in the 95th minute. So sometimes you do have to wait for card bets because a lot of the cards do come late. It's a high line, Asian line. Now, this is actually with Bet365 in the UK. If you can't get the Asian card line, you won't be able to get it in most places. I would take over 6.5 cards because I think there's 7 or more. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? 7 cards in a game. But this match is so unique. But I think the substitute rule where you're allowed 5 on helps cards now, yellow cards, because people just take one for the team and then get substituted off.
Right, yeah, but that's also hurt us, right? With it works wonders for bets like this, but it's hurt us with red cards.
Red cards, yeah,
they can sub in more people. So you got your guy who's on a yellow, and you're all excited for him to get another one. They just yank him off. So I do love the number 6 here because, like always, I love having the option of not being an all or nothing, of having a push option. But like you said, with there being 6, 6, and 7, I don't know. I think that is great. And you said there tends to be more in this matchup when they're at Celtic.
When at Celtic Park, yeah. And I my theory behind that is because Celtic have generally been the more dominant team in the last 4 or 5 years, and I think Rangers do have several players who lose their heads. In the squad. Morelos is odds on just to get a card in this game, for example.
Oh, really? Yeah, and another thing, that I like is that I think that Celtic, I mean, they've just been a wagon team for me. I mean, that for the podcast we were doing, for me personally, and for my Patreon members, I just love that Celtic team. I think they typically, Celtic and Rangers is a really close affair, which it could be here just because it's a rivalry, but there's no doubt that Celtic is a superior team. So I think that, you don't usually see beatdowns in rivalries, but I think it's a potential that Celtic can start frustrating them and put up a couple on them. And in that case, right, you definitely can see some cards flying. So, I like it.
Yeah, as I say, it does seem quite a high card line, and you are in the hands of the referee. But I've got to go with this, especially as it's literally do or die for Rangers. There's no way back here. They have to get a win. They can't play for a draw in this game. So, where should we move next? Let's move to a pick that we've actually got. This is a kind of a joint pick, actually. We're moving back to the Premier League here, and we've got Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. The pick is simple one. Ollie Watkins, anytime scorer at plus 130. Now, I've seen quite a lot of people out there tipping the Aston Villa handicap here, Asian handicap, or on the nose money line. And I think it's a great bet. I think they're going to win easily, I've got to be honest. But I think the real value in the game is Watkins, because he's just, I mean, you might have the stats more to hand here, Ashley, but I think he scored in 6 of his last 7 games or something like that. Were you surprised against Nottingham Forest at home that he's plus 130 just to score any time?
No, if I weren't used to betting scorer props, then I would be. But this is a constant. Like the guy that I'm about to be on to tell you guys to take as a scorer here in just a few minutes, constantly at plus money. That's why they say anyone who's taken like Lewandowski and people like that, or Holland, laying like a minus 250. There's so much better value to be found out there. Like Ollie Watkins, he is just in great form. And I think he's going up with the form he's in against the perfect team right here, right? I mean, Nottingham Forest, they don't have any type of defense to write home about. I think Ollie Watkins has been playing well and can score on a good defense on a given day right now. So, we made these picks before we started talking, and I rarely bet anything in the Premier League. Usually it will be a scorer, but this is one that Steve and I, we're going to give as singles. So, we both really like this one a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Leeds against Nottingham Forest in midweek, and Forest are not very good right now at all. Leeds should have put 4 or 5 goals on them, to be honest with you. And if Leeds, but the difference is Leeds don't have a striker currently in great form. Like Patrick Bamford's still not quite fit. Rodrigo's not quite fit. Villa do have Watkins, who's a brilliant number 9, and he will get certainly at least one really good chance here, probably 2 or 3. Wouldn't surprise me if he bagged a brace or even a hat-trick. I am personally going to captain him in Fantasy Premier League this week. Definitely, he's my captain in the game because I'm expecting him to have a great performance. And I honestly think he should be odds on to score any time against, I think, maybe certainly the worst away team in the Premier League. Their stats are horrendous away from home.
Yeah, it's just a thing when it comes to a score, and that's why I love the market so much. A lot of people are scared to take it on, but you're getting plus money. So it's a thing. If you're someone who feels like you want to win every bet, you're not going to do that with a scorer. But when you're taking scores that are plus money, you don't have to hit even 90% of those to be profitable. So yeah, when you're picking a specific scorer, it is not as easy as it sounds. So yeah, I usually like to be getting plus money. There are a handful that I will lay a price as a single up maybe to like minus 120 range, but anything more than that, no, I'm looking for plus money. So yeah, love him, love the price, love the spot. I love that we both were on it before we talked. So
absolutely love that one. I really do. I think the only way that bet doesn't win is if he gets injured early in the game. So I'm going to just stay with the Premier League. Sunday now, Leeds against Crystal Palace. I've got a mini bet builder here. This is actually with Betfair in the UK, but you'll be able to get on this anywhere. Any book will offer this, and it's simple. Jack Harrison and Luis Sinisterra to both have over 1.5 shots in the game, plus 139, and this again is Opta. The result is based on Opta statistics, so we've got to rely on them. But Joe, I've been waiting for Sinisterra to be back fit for Leeds, because one thing I've noticed whenever he's played for Leeds, he shoots an awful lot. I've seen you tweet sometimes, Ashley, something like "shoot the goddamn ball. What the fuck are you doing, players? Shoot on goal." Well, you haven't got a problem with Luis Sinisterra. You must love Luis Sinisterra because he just has a go from anywhere. I
was so excited when he decided to go to Leeds because, Leeds is your team. And I was all about betting on him as a goal scorer before. So, yeah, I was excited that he went to Leeds. I'm hoping now he'll, start getting some of that confidence. And I think it won't be long before he's bettable as an anytime goal scorer at some point. I don't think just yet. But, yeah, I definitely like the shots angle. He's not afraid to shoot.
Yeah, he'll have a go. He actually had 4 shots against Forest midweek. Scored a goal as well. So now he's scored that goal, he's going to be more encouraged to net and have a go. I think Sinisterra will only play 65, 70 minutes because they're still managing his game time. Now, Jack Harrison has recently signed a new contract with Leeds, and he scored against Forest as well. Another guy who had 4 shots again in that match, and he loves to have a go. He scored some decent goals from distance this season. You can actually get him at Bet365 even money, just Harrison on his own over 1.5 shots, which I think is a mad price, because I think Jack Harrison will stay on the field longer than Sinisterra. Probably get 80 minutes out of Jack, maybe a little bit more. But against a Palace team who I think they'll sit back a bit, and I think Leeds are going to have to try their luck a little bit from distance here. They're not going to have much space in the penalty area, so I think Harrison, Sinisterra cut inside, and we just need an attempt 2 attempts on goal from both. They can be horrific attempts, but I actually think both of these two are actually good value to even score a goal again in this game. So, but plus 139 double. It just looks really good to me. Again, I think the only way it doesn't win is with injury, or if one of them doesn't start or something like that. Who knows? But
yeah, and since you said that, I'm going to add this caveat, which you guys are going to hear every time we're on here talking about scorers or shots or anything like that. Always make sure that if you're taking a goal scorer or like these props, that your book has the option, right, where you tick the box that says void if the player does not start. If your book does not have that option, then just do not place the bet until the official lineups are released. And that's usually typically about an hour before the match starts. But definitely, because you don't want to be locked into a bet, right? And then you get the lineup, and then all of a sudden the guy's not in there, and you're just out that money. So always just be sure, right, that if you don't have that option to avoid it, that you just wait till they're playing, for sure.
I would agree with that. I think that's a great bit of advice. I know there's people out there who are willing to risk stuff like that, and they're still happy for the bet to ride if the player comes off the bench. But the sensible thing, you've got to really you've got to have that option of cancelling it. Okay, let's move to one of your picks here, Ashley. We're going to Deutschland, into Germany, and this is a Saturday game. Bayer Leverkusen against Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt over 2.75 goals is the pick here at plus minus 120. I'll bring the screen up here. And we'll go through a few stats, but yeah, you really like the goals in this game.
I do. So both of these teams have been playing better of late, right? Leverkusen finally getting in scoring form, and I actually think that Frankfurt, being knocked out of the European competition, now being able to focus just on Germany Bundesliga, I think that helps our cause here. Frankfurt has a scorer. You guys probably know that Kolomwani. He's just been on fire, and I love that. The recent head-to-head numbers, and I love the recent form of both of these teams, and then particular strikers that are on fire. And I love that they're both going to be looking to finish up at the table where they're going to get a European spot, right? So as far as the head-to-head numbers, over 2.5 has hit in 10 of the last 12. It doesn't get much, stronger than that. So Leverkusen, they are at home here. They score a little bit over 2 goals per match at home. Frankfurt concede almost 2, so like 1.8. And like I said, when you've had over 2.5 at 10 of the last 12. I just think that both teams see this as a winnable match, and I think they have players that are in form. I'll probably be sprinkling Kolomwani to score also. I think there's value to be had on Frankfurt here. So, yeah, I could see this as, maybe a 2-2. I think that we get 4 goals out of it. If we get 3, we get a half win and a half push. I'll take a half win on every single bet I make every day. I have no problem with that. I think that both teams contribute to the total here. I'm just hoping that we don't see one of those bizarrely low-scoring, frustrating Bundesliga matches that have kind of popped their ugly heads up, like, the last several weeks. But yeah, I think this is my favorite one for goals as far as the Bundesliga. Yeah, and digging into the numbers made me like it even more.
This is going to be one of the best games to watch, isn't it? As a neutral, you think on Saturday, really, in the big leagues, because
I think so.
Yeah, you've got. I mean, just looking here, 3.4 goals a game by Leverkusen average, and every time I see Kolomwani score, I almost think of you actually, Ashley, because I'm almost certain that you've backed him in some form. He's been an absolute cash cow for you.
And I'll tell you what, the guy's so good, you might as well bet him now while you can, because I think he's probably not going to be too much longer hanging around with that team. Probably be off, right, somewhere else. All these teams, that's what they do to me. They snag my really good goal scorers and throw them into a league where I can't really bet them for a little bit. But yeah, bet that guy while you can. I don't think he'll be at Frankfurt for too much longer.
I reckon he would swap all of his goals for finishing that last-ditch chance in the World Cup final against Argentina, wouldn't he? But he missed it. So there's only one team in the Bundesliga that has more unders and overs, by the way, and that is Cologne. So even their matches average exactly 3 goals a game. So this has been a high-scoring league this year, hasn't it? I know early on in the season there was not many goals. Was it August, I think? But it's come back, hasn't it, really well as the Bundesliga.
Well, and that's why I love the Bundesliga, right? And I love like Singapore and Bangladesh and places like that. Some people like the defensive strategies, right, where it's struggling. I guess if you like La Liga 0-0, 1-0 type matches, there's a strategy to that. That's just not my style. I like to see goals flying in from both sides early and often. That's the type of matches that I look for to bet.
All right. Well, I'm going to move now to one of my picks. 2 picks actually for this game. Going to Sweden, and we've got a match between Bromma and Malmo, and I really like Malmo on an Asian handicap here, minus 1.25, Asian handicap at plus 104, and I also like a goal scorer here, Isaac Kiese Thelin, at plus 125. I'm just going to go into have a look at the well, actually, there's no real stats to show because they've only played one match each, but we can have a look at the odds nevertheless. And Malmo, unsurprisingly, are away favourites here. What are they? What price? -217 on the nose. I mean, you could do it if you want. If you like taking money line at that price, then by all means take them, because I think they're a banker, to be honest, or combine them in a double, whatever. I think Bromma Poikina may well be not the worst team in Sweden, but I think that they have no defense at all. From what I've seen of them, they'll give it a go. They lost 3-1 last week at Djurgården. I mean, it could have been 5 or 6, and then they actually got a consolation goal. So anyone who backed Djurgården to 0 was very frustrated.
I backed them. I didn't back them to 0, but I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. I just call them Brahma. But yeah, I just look for their name, and then if I like the team they're playing, I just fade them. So that Djurgården team, I took them. So yeah, I'll be taking Malmo and pretty much any team that plays this Brahma team.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're actually sometimes known in Sweden as just BP. So you could just use that term if you wanted, actually. But yeah, Bromma Poikina, I think it's a great name. Based in Stockholm. But yeah, I think they're just going to give it a go in most matches. They're not going to try and scrape 0-0s. They haven't got the quality for that. And Malmo, I think I've said before on Twitter and things, I think they could win the title by maybe even 10 points this year. I think they're the best team in the league. They absolutely battered Kalmar last week. And Kalmar are a decent team, 1-0. It should have been 2 or 3, really. And the man who did score that goal was Isaac Kiese, who was it was a penalty. So he's on penalty duty. Nice. And he probably should have scored 2 or 3, really, in that game. He's going to bag one here, I'm almost sure. I think the only way he won't score is if they go 3-0 up and they bring him off after, say, 70 minutes to give someone else some minutes. But surely against maybe the worst defense in the league, he can find a way to score. Plus 125, he should be minus money here, in my personal opinion. Malmo do have a habit of maybe not slaughtering teams. So this could be only 2-0 or something, which is fine by me. It wins the handicap. And I think if they do score goals, Kiese Thelin's going to be involved. But really, if they should be taking them to the cleaners, actually, this should be like a 3 or 4 goal blowout, really. And yeah, I think you're right. I think when you're facing Bromma Poikina, you've either got to bet against Bromma Poikina on, say, the money line, or you've got to take the team total goals for someone. But yeah, they're not a good team. I do also like. There's a match I quite like it as well in Sweden this week. Häcken against Hammarby, but we'll save that for another day. We can't.
I do like that Häcken team. I think I took them last time.
Yeah,
I think there's something in that match. I don't know if I was on them, but yeah. I took them.
So yeah, but I think this is the best one to focus on for the Swedish Allsvenskan this week. Malmo handicap minus 1.25 Asian, and Isaac Kiese Thelin anytime scorer. You could
just
even
out of curiosity, and so how I love to interrupt you. What is the price of just the -1? What are the odds on that?
The -1 Asian is, I think, about -150.
So a huge difference. Okay, yeah.
You can actually get -135 at one book, but mostly it's around -147. So
yeah, no, right. Your price is better, and then, like you said, it may be 2-0. Who cares? That would be perfect for that handicap. So
I looked at -1, and I was like, do you know what? You got to have a few bollocks sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to pick your spots, right? And you shouldn't really be too cautious versus this side. Yeah, if Malmo don't beat them by 2 clear goals, then you just kind of tip your hat and move along. But it's the right play. So sometimes the right play doesn't work out, but yeah, you just need it to work out more times than not.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would piss me off is if they were, say, 2-0 up and then Bromma scored a late goal. I mean, last week, to be fair, that they should have probably scored to make it 3-2. And if you're on the Djurgården handicap, you would have been screwing if they had not covered it.
Well, that's me. That's why I'm typically like a totals person anyway, whether it's match totals, team totals, shot totals, whatever. I do take handicaps and sides sometimes, but if you see me take a handicap, typically I'm not going to be taking anything worse than a -1, because yet again, I'm a coward, and I'd love to be able to have
this match. It would suit you better for you personally, your style, to take -1 Asian or
yes, it would.
Malmo team total. Although there's always a bloody risk of 1-0 in Malmo, but I just can't see that here really.
Yeah, and I think that -130, I'd take the -1. When you're talking pushing up to -150, no, I very rarely lay that. So yeah, I would like yours. And like I said, I took Djurgården versus this side. So yeah, they should have win by 2 clear goals unless there's something wrong.
They should, certainly. Right, we'll finish this show with a pick of yours, Ashley. We're going to France, and we are going to be going to Nantes against Monaco. Now, regular viewers, listeners, followers of Ashley may predict what this pick is. It's a goal-scoring pick, and I'll give you a clue. It's not a Nantes player, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well just record this segment right here. Then I can just, exit off the shows early, and then we'll just keep playing this, because you guys are going to go get sick of me. Well, I don't know. You probably won't get sick of me taking this guy, because he's going to make you money. He makes me money. They always offer him at plus odds. It's just one of those things where the books keep being stupid, and you should keep punishing them for being stupid. Yedder, they're on the road here. That does not bother me. One of the first things that I ask myself when I take a score, do I think this team is going to score multiple goals? Monaco on the road are averaging a little over 2 goals. They've scored at least 2 on 5 straight on the road, and they've scored in every single match they've played on the road. So yes, I do think that Monaco can put up multiple goals. More times than not, if they do, Yedder is going to be involved. And another thing that I ask myself is this person on penalty duties? You want to do everything that you can to put the odds in your favor. And yes, he is. And he's not only on penalty duties, but he's not like an Alexis Sanchez or a Mahrez. He actually knows how to make penalties. So if you see Yedder at plus money and you expect Monaco to score, do yourself a favor and take him. It's one of the rare bets too, where you're not going to want to throw your TV off the balcony if he doesn't score, because if he doesn't, you just turn right back around the next time and jump on him, and he is going to win for you more times than not. I would say this guy, I've actually been thinking about this for the last few weeks. I want to run some numbers and see what percentage he hits at from me, but it's very high. I'll tell you, it's at least 75%. And if you're getting 75% at a -110, you are skyrocketing in the profit. So getting this guy at plus money, that's my new dog, Mako.
Hey, he likes this pick.
He loves
that is a sign, isn't it?
Yeah, he loves getting toys, right, and food, and so he wants his mama to make that money. So,
he wants the Yedder pick. This is the one. I'll just give a few words about this game. Actually, I like Monaco to win this one. And it was incredible last week, by the way. Monaco scored 4 goals and Yedder didn't get a single goal.
Steve. I knew you were going to hurt me with that one. Yes, and I was on him. But like I said, see, here you go. I'm on him again. And I mean, my God, if you would have told me they score 4 goals and he doesn't get one, it has to be infinitesimally low odds of that happening. So,
yeah, it's I've got an issue with Nantes. I think if they're not careful, they're going to be in some trouble, Just looking at the table here, they are only 4 points clear of relegation. 4 teams go down this year in France. They would have been pleased with the result tonight. Lens beating Strasbourg, but their heads are in the clouds with the Coupe de France. They're in the final again for the second year running. They beat Lyon 1-0 in midweek, but they haven't kept a clean sheet in the actual league for some time. And I've been very, very concerned about their defensive fragility. And I could see Monaco getting 2 or 3 on them in this game, to be honest. So, and
it's like that. That's your expertise. I'm not like a numbers person, but it seems like they're a team that's involved quite a bit in feisty affairs, like with red cards. Or am I mistaken? Isn't that them?
Well, I mean, any team's been having reds, but yeah, I think they do very feisty set of players, like you said, physical team. Right. And they've been often bailed out by the goalkeeper, Albin Lafont, this year quite a lot. But a goalkeeper can't save you all the time.
No, and I love the fact that they are a feisty and physical team like that, because yet again, here we go. vignetters on penalty duties. So they've been getting a shit ton of penalties and reds and everything in League One. So yeah, I love that angle of it too.
And we are also getting to the stage where Monaco manager Philippe Clement, he's got to gain the top 3 to keep his job, because Monaco demand Champions League football. And this was around this time last year, Monaco ended up winning like 8 or 9 games in a row. And I could see them getting on a run again. And obviously that bodes very well. If you're doing well, then your top man up front is probably going to score quite a few goals, isn't he? He's netted, how many has he scored this season? 17 goals this season for Wissam Ben Yedder. He's only 2 behind Kylian Mbappe and Jonathan David. So imagine.
And I've probably literally been on all 17 of those. So
yeah. Back him.
I owe that man quite a bit. I really do.
Yeah. So well, that concludes it. That concludes the show. I've been given a few ideas for those watching for some picks over the weekend. And I say, do keep your eye out for the start of All Angle Sport Investment. Do follow the Twitter channel if you haven't already. It should be on the Twitter links on myself and Ash's feed. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there will be live YouTube feeds from us. I don't know when the next one's going to be, but well, I do know when we're probably looking at doing some stuff ahead of the Champions League next week. But
yeah, we're going to be reading it pretty quickly, and you guys do be sure to do that, like Steve said, because I really like when interacting with you guys is a lot easier on YouTube. So like I can see the questions and some of the snarky comments that I love too, the nice comments. I love it all. Yeah, so that's just a lot easier on YouTube. Exactly
that. And I say, All Angle Sports Investment Premium Service will be up and running within the next week. Keep your eye out for that. And if you do fancy subscribing to it, you will not look back. You will not regret it. You will get a very, very high quality service of not just picks and making money with the units, but also a very personalized service from myself and Ashley. But thanks very much for your time on this show, whether you watch it on Twitter or YouTube. I enjoyed it as always, doing the stuff with you, Ashley. Here.
Of course. I mean, we love each other. This can be awesome.
I know. Okay, well, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and goodbye. And thank you very much, anyone who was Eddie there. Appreciate you with the comment there. You just said really appreciate the insightful analysis. We appreciate anyone who's been watching, Hannah, Kev, and anyone else who's been following the show.
Yes,
but until next time.
Till next time.
Goodbye.